Today Moneyball takes a different turn as we combine attributes to make an anti-football squad. I'll be using data and scout reports not to bring in wonderful, skillful players like Messi, but instead wonderful players that also happen to be absolute beasts. So I guess the main goal of this is to create a squad anti-football full of absolute
monsters.
So welcome to the Netherlands, and we are taking over Telstar in the Eredivisie. You're probably thinking, why Telstar? Well, they're 18th in the pre-season league there on alphabetical order, and in the pre-season odds they are well and truly bottom at 1,000 to 1, and we love an underdog. So before we get onto the squad, what is the anti-football concept that we are shooting for? The criticisms of this would include a lack of flair. We're not exactly going to try and be Pep Guardiola here. As far as player roles go, expect to see ball-winning midfielders and roles like no-nonsense centre-backs. And all that will come into play when we start to decide what tactic we're going to use. So first off, I need to see what I'm working with, and this is the... Wait a minute. My goalkeeper is Ronald Koeman, and it is in fact him, yep. There's his dad. And ironically, he kind of fits the bill of being 6'2" and 90 kg, so he's probably my number one goalkeeper. So in Season 1, I'm going to be judging this squad on something a lot different, so I'm going to change the squad view. So I've changed it up to Sting Telstar Monsters, and all this is emphasising is basically the height and weight of this squad. So it looks like we've got a few centre-backs, and as you can see, they're all at a decent height, 6'4", 6'3", 6'3", 6 foot, a bit on the small side. But can he play as a full-back instead? Let's move him over there. His dribbling's not great, his first touch isn't good, nor is his technique. It's not bad, but we probably need a new left-back. There's trouble brewing at right-back though, because we've got some small players. Ken Seedorf's probably the best right-back, but he's only 5'9", so he's not going to cut the mustard. Just scraping into my thoughts is Robin Polly at 6 foot, so he's probably going to start at right back. That's the kind of thought process we're going through. I mean, before we get to the rest of the squad, when I look down here, we've got a lot of people under 6 foot, and I'm just going to be ruthless and list them all. I mean, this lad is probably one of our better players with a 700,000 valuation, but Jesus Malesus, he's 5'3". Okay, so that's everybody under 6 foot transfer listed. So I've obviously got some squad building to do, but the good news is I've got two monster strikers. The first one, Quinten van den Herrik, is 6'3" and 86 kg, and the second one is Danzel Gravenberch. This guy could be cult in this save. He's 6'1", but he's 101 kilograms. Now when you look at his positions, he's a striker or a centre back, but I'm convinced he's one of those players that gets chucked up front if you're losing. I mean, look at his past record. He's not exactly a goal machine, is he? Yeah, he's definitely a centre-back, but for me, he's my Season 1 striker started up front. So it's pretty clear we literally need to beef out this squad. So for Season 1, it's going to have to be an old-school attribute search for some big old boys. Once we get to Season 2, we can revert to the data analysis to help us find the players. But for Season 1, we just need to do what we can to survive. And it's a good job we're not using data straight away, because we've only got one scout and we're allowed 2. Jesus. The other complication is the fact we are absolutely skint. We've got a transfer budget of 278, but we've got a wage budget of 0. So it's old school player search, contract status unattached, and then the only thing we really want Season 1 is height at least 6'2". Now first up, I definitely need a left back because they're all too small. The first player that caught my attention was Maxime Hullet. Is he another young kid from a famous player? Oh my days, he is. Ruud Hullet's his dad. He wants to be a centre-back. I'm going to play him as a left-back. He's 6'3", so he's a big boy. He can cross a ball, and he's not bad physically, so he'd be a great first signing. When I look back at the squad, we are sorely lacking in central midfielders, so that's got to be the next focus. The other crutch we've got in Season 1 is the fact that our scouting range is only the Netherlands. We could up it to world, but we'd put ourselves in financial ruin. And we're not exactly well off either, so we need to be sensible Season 1. So I've only got about 15 to 20 players to choose from here, and I probably need 2 at least. I like the look of Emmanuel Matuta. He's got a good, decent attribute range, nothing worldy, but he is 6'3" and a physical player. Problem is that wage budget is killing me already. And I can't change the transfer budget either. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to miss out on a ton of players here. So instead I might have to look for some breakthrough prospects, some youth players that have been released by bigger teams. I mean, he's on a wage similar to me at my day job at Sainsbury's. To be fair, he's not a bad little player, but Season 1 we're going to have to take what we can get. So instead I'm going to pivot a little bit and try and get some players in on loan. Despite looking 12 years old, Luke Netton is actually 6'3" and his style is a leader. I mean, it's likely in Season 1 that a lot of these players under 6 foot will get a pass, but I am going to get them out eventually. They're just lucky that I'm skint, otherwise they'd be out of here straight away. Time for my anti-football tactic now. Now I've landed on this day 1 tactic. This is the Tel Death Star. You can see I've got fullbacks on attack. God, they've got a job to do here. They might even move up a bit higher. 2 no-nonsense centre-backs, There's our ball winning midfielder. 2 box-to-box midfielder who will just cause chaos everywhere. Now up front, double target forward combo with a shadow striker trying to feed off the scraps. These are probably going to change, but these are the initial instructions. We're going to boot it long, slightly more direct, which may well shift to much more direct, something like that. We're going to float them crosses up for the big lads. We'll go for a counter regroup, so we're just going to pack the back if we lose the ball. And out of possession, we'll try a mid-block at the start. Might not work, you know what FM's like, but we will get stuck in and we're going to drop off if we lose the ball. So the tactics in place. I've got some players on the way in, but I'm not going to have enough, so I'm going to have to work with the squad I've got. This could be a pretty messy first season. Before I got going with the season, there was some good news. Some of the youngsters are actually absolute monsters. But at least those boys have bugged our squad out, and if you look, even if we sold all of our sub 6 foot players, we would still just about have a starting 11. We got our new scout in, and to be fair, he was recommending a ton of players from all over the place, including 36-year-old Mauro Zarate, but 5'9", just not going to cut it. But it is encouraging to see that he is recommending players from Africa, from Asia, from Sweden, everywhere really. And to be fair, Dennis Watson, although absolutely terrible at judging ability, does have knowledge of a load of countries and regions. Similar story for my new chief scout. He's a Mexican. He wasn't the greatest guy that applied for us, but those nations and regions, that's what we need. Pre-season went okay, and there were some promising signs for the way we're going to play. Hulot down the left-hand side, whips it in, and there's Gravenberch with a big header. And he did this time and time again in this match, and what I love about him, he is just absolutely massive. He scores a double hat-trick in this match, all with his head. By the end of pre-season, we'd had a wonderful time. And cult hero Denzel Gravenberch had scored 13 times in 6 matches. Just bear in mind the quality of opposition though. One of our scouts had came up trumped with new signing Touré, in from Senegalese football for 63,000. He's going to play box to box and he's pretty decent. And vitally he's 6'2", but look at that attribute range. So he joins new signing Hullet at left back, Netan on loan from Feyenoord as the destroyer in midfield. Touré's in there, midfield there. I'm going to have to swallow my pride to some extent, playing some players under 6 foot for season 1, but so far, pretty happy. So good to get going. It's going to be a tough old season, but I'm quite excited who we can upset. Midway point of the season, I mean, we're doing the best we can. Do you know what? Gravenberch is still doing his thing though. And undoubtedly, our performance of the season is when he scored 4 times against Go Ahead Eagles. They couldn't handle the big man as it gave us a 4-1 win and things were looking good. I'd also brought in Adebayor, not that one. This is Victorian Adebayor. Came in from just everywhere basically, and he's not had a great time. And on occasion, neither have we, as we got battered by Feyenoord 8-1 and murdered by Sparta Rotterdam 6-0. Although if you look at the match stats, it's a bit harsh. So overall, how are we sitting? We've just won 2 in a row, back-to-back 1-0s, and that's helped us get out of that bottom 3, and we're currently sat 15th, clinging 4 points clear. But now I can have a little look to see how the team are actually performing. We'll start with the legend that is Gravenberch. Playing up front, he's winning loads of headers, look at that. We thought he would, and he has been. Got a decent amount of goals, he's not breaking any barriers in terms of non-penalty expected goals. Some of the key players are going to be the fullbacks to supply those crosses. He's playing really well defensively. I'd like to see this get up a bit, but he's in a really struggling team. So Son of Rude is actually playing pretty well. So my midfield destroyer in on loan from Feyenoord, doing alright, winning some tackles, not getting a load of the ball back, he's struggled a bit. But I have seen promising signs from the new signing Touré. He does win a load of tackles and he gets forward quite a bit, so he's somewhere in between these 2 roles and he's doing okay. Goals are the main problem, as you can see. The other striker, Van den Herik, he's not played much through injury. It might be that we tweak this somewhat, but at the minute, I'm going to stick for now. There won't be any changes to the team because of this right here, so we need to trust what we've got. And we are doing our thing in terms of tackles attempted, second, yellow cards, top of that, tackles won were second, fouls made were top, so we are putting ourselves about a bit. Second half of the season started really well, some big wins. And we're a bit of a weird team because we do keep clean sheets, but we also concede an absolute bucket load to the better teams. Despite that, we showed some real fight late in the season and got some crucial results late on. And this win, with the highlight being youngster 6'6" striker Zonneveld scoring, he just came into the team late on, meant mission completed, we survive, and you know what, we did it by 10 points. Yep, we conceded an absolute ton of goals, 73 for the worst in the league, but scoring 39 was just enough, and getting 10 victories meant we were pretty comfortable. There's likely going to have to be changes to the tactic, but for season 1 I wasn't expecting much and it kept us in the league. And I'm telling you, this guy's a cult hero and he's staying with us as long as we can keep him. He's now a goal scoring machine with 14 goals this season, and that's not a bad performance. Senegalese player Touré looked good. He actually did okay in that central midfield spot, so we'll see what we can make of him next season. And Junior Hullet with 6 assists at fullback was a decent signing. Now half the squad are out of contract, but I see this as an opportunity to build a completely different squad. Because despite going for an anti-football approach, I still want us to be attractive to watch with plenty of goals, so the main anti-football element will come in via the height and weight of these players. Got to make this squad an absolute monster squad. But remember, we beat the odds. We were 1,000 to 1 certainties to go down, so it's got to be a result that season. I'm just thinking now what to come up with for the tactic for season 2. Tough ass season for the boys, but they did survive. The only way is up. Let's get more horrible. Into season 2, and by staying in the top flight, our finances have improved. Check that out. This means I was able to up the scouting range to world, so that should give us a better broad range of players to look through. Now we don't want to play a hoofball as such, we've done that. We want to be a good team, but with a ton of nasty elements. So topping things like tackle stats is where we want to be, and obviously with a strong emphasis on headers, which we're doing pretty good at. I do want to see us get up there in terms of crosses, 6th at the minute, so not bad. Basically all the nasty sides of the game I want us to excel at. So as you can see, I identified key positions I'm going to need, and I need to add a goalkeeper to that as well. Ronald Koeman Jr. has decided he doesn't want to stay with us, so he'll be leaving us. So thanks to the scouting range, it brought me Mohamed Kamara, who will soon be joining the club. Joining from Casa Sports in Senegal. Right, he's only 19, he's got work to do in terms of his attributes, but he's 6'2", and last season he was elite at winning headers and winning tackles. Now joining him will be some free transfer Brazilians. All of these boys have came in from Indonesian football, so not exactly an elite level. But all their scout reports have one thing in common: strength and stamina. That was Dalberto. It's a similar story for Jeffino. He scored 17 times in Indonesia last season, and again, strength and stamina. Probably the best of the three is Paulo, who's going to play in the attacking midfield slot. 6'2", attacking midfielder, physical player. Hey, that's a worrying amount of flair for us. More to come, but the next one coming in is an interesting player, Rennie Kriwak, who is 6'6", heading 17 and jumping reach 18, and he also can randomly dribble really well. Scout report emphasises the fact he's a huge unit, but what I like, and this is a weird thing to say, is his cons has a competitive streak which can sometimes lead to him bending the rules. Last season was mostly off the bench, but when he did get on, he won plenty of headers. So we've got 5 coming in at the minute. I expect more to come by the time we hit pre-season. I'm going to let you into the tactic now, and this is go to sleep. It's a version of a tactic I used with double liberos, but obviously we won't be using them. It is as carnage as it says, and I just feel like shocking the Eredivisie a little bit with it. Of course, that could go comically wrong, so we've got more players to come in just in case. Our new goalkeeper will be Ulrich Ndri. This man's 6'4", absolute unit of a man. And I'm taking a punt on 6'3" striker Joe Hugel from Manchester United. There's still a couple of those annoying sub-6 players still lingering around, but after pre-season's finished, maybe we'll get rid of them because the rest of the squad are absolute giants. So I tried the tactic in pre-season and it started off pretty well. There's loads of people in the box for everyone to aim at. But on the flip side, you can get outscored as Ghent showed here. This is a massive risk. That's the way we're lined up. I've got 2 new fullbacks as well that should help us. Here's an interesting one to try and pronounce. This is Nathan Jo Aon. Nathan to you and me. Our new 6'3" left back, committed player who gives his all, love it. And on the other side we've got Elias Bronkhorst. What attracted me to him was the fact he's 6'1", but he's also got aggression and teamwork. And those two will be absolutely vital because they are the only width in this team as they bomb forward, leaving the 2 centre-backs to fight for their lives with Touré to try and win the ball back. Higher up the pitch, Dalberto and Paulo will roam around a little bit and go wider, marking the opposition fullback to try and help out in defence. So despite my optimism with all my new signings, the season preview laughed at us again and put us down at 900 to 1. They may be right, but let carnage commence. This is not football, this is the way we play it. In a sign of what was probably to come, we went 2-0 down in our first game pretty early. In fact, after 21 minutes, we were getting ripped to shreds and it was 3-0. But keeping the faith, giant dribbling striker Kriwak scored twice as we pulled it back to actually take the lead 4-3. It ended up 4-4. That's a sure sign of what's to come. The carnage continues as we shocked Knockbreda, scoring another 4. And then in the maddest game yet, living legend Denzel Gravenberch scored a hat-trick as we beat Willem 4-5. But this was sandwiched between 5 goal defeats to Zwolle, and Rotterdam got their yearly battering of us. As you can see from the starts of that season, we might have to calm things down a bit. I mean, after 8 matches we are sitting comfortably in 9th. We've scored 21 times, but we've conceded a whopping 26. So I'm thinking of different ways to actually change this up and make it a tiny bit more or less carnage. And we did that against Ajax, only losing 1-0 despite having 10 men for nearly the entire match. I'd flip things to a flat back 5, sacrificing one of the attacking midfielders for an extra centre back. And all of a sudden we started to grind out victories, completely opposite to the way we were just playing. This led us to playing Feyenoord away, a game I'm scared about, but we shocked Dutch football by beating them 1-0. And then out of nowhere, we scored 7 against Groningen. I'm not quite sure what happened there. It's supposed to be a more defensive formation, but solid as a rock. So after the first season carnage of goals going in everywhere, we've now got 4 clean sheets in a row, stifling teams with our flat back 5 and our 3 strong strikers. The good news is the players are doing what I'm asking of them. Plenty of headers won, especially from the strikers, Gravenberch with 7 goals this season. Surprisingly less impressive was Joe Hugel from Manchester United, so he's probably going to drop out of the team. Zé Paulo's been great with 6 assists, but as an attacking midfielder at 6'2", he's winning a ton of headers in an area of the pitch you don't normally. And they are excelling at the dirty dark arts of the game like pressures. Especially my fullbacks, they're having a great time. They're having the dark arts of winning a decent amount of headers, loads of pressures, winning the ball back, but them assists are pretty handy. And that's on both sides, right and left. And what's mad is goalkeeper Ulrich, despite conceding 31 goals, is still doing better than he should be. And that's a perfect defensive midfield display from Toure, winning tackles, applying pressure, progressing the ball. So we're sat in 11th with 23 points, but we're pretty comfortable. I think what I'm going to do is keep tweaking away at this flat back 5 tactic to see if we can make it a bit more expressive to give us a bit of a better chance going forward. So first half of the season we're still trying to find ourselves. We're still trying to be aggressive and physical, but we're just trying to get a bit of attacking play in there as well. And second half of the season, sometimes we looked blooming good. The highlight came in 2 back-to-back games, first beating PSV and then going to Ajax and beating them with the flat back 5. Quite fitting that the home of beautiful Dutch football got ruined by the 5-man defence and the 3-man strike force. At that point things were going really well, but a bad end to the season stopped us getting as high as we could, but we did finish in the top 10 in 9th position, which gave us a chance of European places, but we just succumbed to Heerenveen. But a fantastic second season means we're an established Eredivisie side now. I've already started planning for next season, trying to think of ways that we can improve this flat 5 system. One thing's for sure though, we hit the jackpot with experienced Brazilian Zé Paulo. He had a great first season with 8 goals, 7 assists, but I think my assistant manager needs to calm down with the comparisons. And I know what you're all asking, how did Gravenberch do? Well, he scored 9 times in 29 matches, but he's just got himself a really bad injury. He's been out for 4 months with a damaged Achilles tendon, which incidentally coincided with our poor run at the end of the season. The guy's an icon, and to be fair, jokes aside, he continues to outperform his abilities, and he's not losing any weight. Now, our performance has meant that we are super comfortable in terms of finances, so I'm hoping that this transfer budget and wage budget, the board might get a bit more generous. But don't forget, we are a tiny team. There's our stadium, and the capacity is only 3,600. So now with that solid season wrapped up, we need to think how we can progress this team to get to the next level. Yes, we're still going to rely on physicals, but we need to get a better quality of player in who also match the physical anti-football mantra. It's a new season full of optimism, but not in the season preview, as we go back to 1,000 to 1. Are they having a laugh? But I'm looking forward to the new season with some new players to see if we can get this flat 5 working. If not, we will adapt as we go, as always. I've got some bids in for some players that I think will be difference makers. Players that are just a bit of a step up, such as Danilo Varakuta, a Ukrainian goalkeeper. Excited about this one, Yang Debango. He's found himself in Estonia and we found him. He just scrapes in being 6 foot, but he's a physical player with high work rate, so let's see what we can do. And I'm actually going to spend money on this guy. This is Mamadou Lamine Camara, central midfielder or defensive midfielder. Determination sticks out a bunch, but 6'4" and 87 kilograms fits the remit perfectly. Now, he hasn't played much, mostly been used off the bench, but when he does play, he seems to be doing everything right. So he's a player that we can invest in at only 22 years of age, and he's coming from Morocco. Honestly, my scouts are pulling up trees at the minute, and these guys are coming in from all over the place. I have got my recruitment focuses locked in, And I've also got the height locked in at 6'2", so I'm hoping to come up with some decent results. But despite having 8 million in the bank, the most we've had yet, we still have only got 500,000, so we need to be clever with what we do. But that hasn't stopped me building a big shortlist from players all over the place. We've got Togolese player in Boateng, we've got Yotsakaran Barapa, who's a Thai player. I've also got players on there that I'm expecting we won't be able to get this season, but maybe the season's coming. And late in the transfer window, I was able to get a player who's probably too good for us. Liam Skills joins from Celtic. I'm going to play him as a bit of a ball-playing centre-back, trying to get this aggressive anti-football team a bit more technical. And overall, we spent money, 700,000, and brought in 500 as well. As we continue to morph the flat back five, this is what we're looking like this season. There's been a couple of changes, specifically in the centre-back area. Sven van Beeks came in as well. So far this season he's started fantastically as well. Bit of experience. You'll notice we've moved our boy Nathan into a central midfield slot. That's to get our new signing Dabango down the left hand side. So far it's proved the right decision as 4 matches in, so early days for him, but look at that. So I sacrificed Nathan into defensive midfield, but it's been perfect. Pressures, tackles, possession won, and up front dribbling target man Kriwak has started well. There's a new guy alongside them, it's Badamosi. He was signed late on a free transfer, but he's 6'5", he's massive. And the scouts absolutely demanded that I signed him. You'll also notice that I've got an attacking mentality this time. All part of the plan to get a little bit more aggressive this season. And so far, so good. And don't worry, Gravenberch is still a major factor. At the midway point of the season, we've had some big wins. We're scoring plenty of goals. And even Sparta Rotterdam didn't beat us. And if you look at the actual match, we absolutely murdered them as well. Overall though, we've been a little bit inconsistent, but we're definitely a better team now. We've played this setup most of the season. The front three there haven't really changed. Bizarrely, Badamosi just has not got going. No goals in the league. And if you look at his chart, he's doing everything right that I want. Winning a decent amount of headers, pressures, tackles, possession. He's just not scoring. But don't worry, because Danzel is. 7 goals so far. But Starman has been Kriwak, our Peter Crouch, 12 goals. So I'm going to keep tweaking away at this. There might be an option to actually lose a centre-back, move him into midfield, because at the halfway point of the season we have a chance to kick on here, only losing 5 matches, sat in 8th, only 4 points off Europe. So perhaps getting a little bit cocky at this point, I went a bit more expansive, and against Ajax it bit me directly in the ass. I mean, it started well. We raced into a 3-0 lead after 18 minutes, but then a player who probably should be playing for us, Wout Weghorst, just ripped us to bits. The game ended 4-8. Yep, 4-8. But the real story was brewing in the cup, and even Badamosi was scoring. We were flying in this one, and he scored a hat-trick here. And you may notice his goals all come from a particular type of source. We got all the way to the semi-final, then a very un-Telstar-like goal had got us to the Dutch Cup final. And the good news, all the big boys are out. We're going up against Groningen. Goal scorer from that free kick was Antali Nuriev, another player that we brought in the summer. He's a 6-foot physical attacking midfielder. Cracking first season for us, scoring 8 in 20. And where did the scouts find him? Of course, Azerbaijan. So with not long left in the season, we're sat comfortably in 8th position in the Eredivisie with a small chance to get in that top 5, but we're going to shoot for top 6. And we've got the biggest match that we could possibly have coming up soon in the final against Groningen. There has been a change to the tactic as well. In some matches we go with the box with a double anchor and a double target forward, and we still have the back 5 in our back pocket. And my man Muhammad Badamosi, I love this guy. So he scored no goals in the Eredivisie, literally none, but he scored 5 in 5 in the cup. And if you look at his overall performance, it's blooming great. And the main man just continues to do what he does. 11 goals this season in 26. He's now 32, but I've just given him a new contract till 2028. We've also now got a fully 6-foot plus squad. But it all comes down to this. Biggest match in our history didn't exactly start well. Groningen came right out the blocks, and after half an hour we were 2-0 down. But we came back into it, getting the first goal back on 45 minutes, and after an hour we made it 2-2 with a classic Telstar goal. This led us into extra time, and with penalties looming, after 115 minutes, we made the breakthrough, giving Telstar an unbelievable result, winning the Dutch Cup. That probably sums us up. Biggest overachievers. So what a time we're having. Remember, we're on 1,000 to 1 team, but we're combining these two tactics at the minute to get a success with our giant squad, which is all 6 foot plus. In fact, I've got 3 guys over 6'6". There's already a couple of guys lined up to come in next season. 2 guys that are fitting the remit perfectly, winning headers. Question is, does the Telstar physical story continue?